unedited.
And hello, everybody.
Broadcasting across Australia on Dare Media Group radio stations, this is the Sportcat Show, uncovering secret chapters, strange encounters,
and the occasional technical mishap.
There is always the technical mishap. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sportcat Show, formerly known as the Paranormal Guys. We have a great lineup tonight and a great episode, and we're going to just jump right in. Let me bring out my co-host first. Hello, Jen. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You're not nervous, are you?
No. Why would you be nervous?
Okay. I just want to make sure. So we've got Naked and Afraid. You'll see this episode. Show you some. And Andrew, well, he's our first victim or our first guest, I guess. So let's bring him out. Hello, Andrew. How are you?
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, thank y'all for having me.
Oh, man, we were so excited for you. We are glad you're here. So
I'm happy to be here.
I've got too many buttons to push here. I haven't pushed buttons in a week or two, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So Andrew, we are live on Dare Talk Radio, Radio X Gold in Australia, and of course, we will replay overnight in Nashville over the weekend. So make sure to say hello to all of them, and WZQR in Florida, Pine Island. So we are going to be getting you out there. So hello, Prime Time.
I'm telling you. Yeah, at least they get to hear my voice. But if they, stay tuned later on this weekend, they get to see a little more than that.
I can see all of you.
Yeah,
I think they bleep things out, don't they?
Yeah, they do everyone a favor on that, but they maybe a little more could have helped a little bit.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us how you got in this. Well, I don't want to say situation, but the show.
Yeah, so I'm from East Texas. Obviously from the accent, it's a pretty thick one. But I love movies. I make movies. Got a couple of them right back here, but also I love challenging myself. And that's where Naked and Afraid came in, to where it's like, of course, sitting there like a keyboard warrior watching the show, like I can do that. Like what is that? And I submitted, and finally I got my opportunity. And I guess they were like, well, let's put him on the spot, see if he can actually do what he says that he can do. And they gave me every bit of, can't say too much with it, but I promise you it was every bit of whatever I expected it would be. And any keyboard warrior out there that is enjoying a big old, soda and some popcorn that says, oh, I can do that, go do it. Go get you some of that.
Put your money.
But like I said, I love. Yeah, exactly. But I love being challenged. I love challenging myself. I love, when people say you can't do that. I'm from a little small area here. It's most people can't even fathom the idea to do it. And it's not bashing them by any means or anything like that. It's just they're not familiar with it, and so it's a lot of. Can he do it? Can he not do it? And I love to show people what I can do.
Did you study up for it, or I'm sorry, Jen? how do you how do you do your homework to get on a show like that?
Yeah, so it's one of those things that there's several people that I admire, that I'm a fan of that's been on the show. Heather Smith was one that I admired that's been on several episodes. Talk to her, but mostly it's kind of just getting into the mindset of, okay, well, what you see from the show to say, well, how do I get the, sodas out of my systems, all the processed foods, because once you're out there, you're not getting those things, right? The caffeines, all those different things. And, but also the body to say, well, there's obviously most people, unless maybe you're into that kind of thing, that you don't just walk around naked in the backyard, really, So there's certain parts of the body that never gets any sun. And to say, well, we don't need to figure out what it feels like to burn in certain spots until you get out there, right? And so you kind of think of those things, of everything you can think of that could go wrong or that could hurt, and start making those things hurt just to kind of break yourself into it.
I never thought about that, getting sunburned where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and something most people don't think about. And
Yeah.
it's easier to try to prepare for it than to go out there. And some people don't. When you watch the show, it's hard to know what you don't know, until you do it. I don't know. And so I try to think everything outside the box to say, well, how can I, break my feet in? There is no, oh, my feet hurt, let me go put some shoes on. There's nothing
Yes.
like that. It's one, if your feet are tore up on day one, your feet tore up the whole time,
Oh gosh.
My thoughts are, because, well, coming from the Great White North, is, it'd be pretty darn cold this time of year to be going outside naked. But I bet, they have to take that into consideration, and they decide where they put you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what makes them determine, where we want to put someone or not. I'm not sure what the details were as far as how they do that. Obviously, I'm from the South, and of course, where we were at was in Africa, and which it's a little bit below the equator. So it's pretty much, they don't have they have seasons, but it's not like as we know them, where it's, summertime at 90 degrees and then winter below 30 or, stuff like that. They have a pretty constant temperature. And so whenever I left the United States, it was springtime.
Mhm.
And so you're used to that. 50s at night, 70s during the day, something along those lines. And then you go to Africa and it's like, ooh, it's really hot here, which it gets hot here in Texas, but I'm not used to it because we just got through with winter, So that's kind of an adjustment thing that you have to go through, just part of the challenge, to where you're naked and afraid, but it's all these elements against you, the physical part, the mental part, there's all these things that says you're going to be uncomfortable here. And it's how do you handle that? And
So is it, obviously you have to prepare physically. Do you have to prepare mentally?
Yeah. And for me, it was just, maybe it was kind of a negative mindset for me. I just looked at it as what could go wrong will go wrong, which means also things that I can't even fathom that could go wrong, which I can't say too much, and I hope y'all get to see it, is like, I didn't expect that to happen, but it did, and it's being able to rebound off of that, and take the punches. And I look at it like life, not to the extreme of being naked and suffering like that, but you got to roll with the punches, in life, you get down and stuff like that. And on the show, there's even the greatest survivalists on the show are going to have their highs, they're going to have their lows,
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It's
and
kind
as
of
you
like,
can see through the as you could see through the little teaser that they released this, I think it was yesterday, that it was on Naked and Afraid's Facebook and social media pages of me and Nicole. There was plenty of ups and downs just in that 1 minute clip,
was there any point, like, because obviously you prepare physically, you get yourself in the right frame of mind. I mean, there had to have been some times where you're like, what the heck did I get myself into? Why did I do this? And kind of doubting, should I have done this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think, for anybody, it's pretty natural, to experience those things that, obviously just from the 1 minute clip, I think most people would say, so like, you're done after that, right? Like you're done, you wrapped it up, you went home, right? Just even from that, and there's a whole nother 2 hour long episode to that one, that was just 1 minute of it. And, there's plenty of those moments, and it's just overcoming your brain, to say that it is uncomfortable. And we just don't, as humans, want to be uncomfortable. Typically, we want to find that comfort zone and sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Cynthia in the chat asks, Andrew, you and Nicole did a 14-day as newbies often do is a 21-day something you might want to do. And she said you gave a nice shout out to Heather.
There you go. Yeah. So 21 days definitely something that I would be interested in. 14 days starting out, no experience. It's kind of the starting point for several people. And there's several folks that have been on Naked and Afraid that's done the 14 and then moved up to 21s and even more. But yeah, most definitely, if that's something they would be interested in me doing, I would definitely come back and do a 21.
Did they tell you beforehand, or did they kidnap you and you're on a plane and then you end up in Africa? I mean, I guess what I'm saying, did you know that you were going to be there instead of South America, say?
Yeah. So they don't give you as much time as you would think, to prepare, but they did tell me, okay, this is where you're going, and stuff like that. And so, and then you fly out. So mine was, I flew out of Dallas and then I went to the Middle East into Qatar and then South Africa and then to where we were going. So they do give you a little bit of a notice, but nothing too terribly crazy, and I think it's probably different for every person. But for me, I liked it because one, you do get enough to kind of prepare, but not enough to where you're anywhere near an expert to say, these things. It's just like, here at home, I know every tree, I know every plant, I know everything that goes into that. And then you go to this other country, another hemisphere, and say, okay, figure all that out now, And so that's a challenge on its own.
No kidding. Now, was some time was it difficult to keep up with? I mean, we always look at our watch or a phone here. Did you lose track of time?
Because you look at the sun.
So I love that question. That's so interesting, and that's something. One of those I didn't know. I don't know what I don't know. And when you get out there, that's for me. I like to know things, and time is a big thing. And it's very difficult to judge and know what time it is because one, it's a different. You learn it here because you're used to that hemisphere. You're used to the spring. The sun. Those things. Well, now you go to Africa. It's a different hemisphere. It's a different all those things. And you say, okay, well, I think the sun's here, so I have this much time. And you have to learn that, and it's hard, but you never truly, or for me anyways, I never knew for certain what time it was. There was, well, I think it's this time or I think it's that time. But that when it's about to get dark and when the sun's rise, those things. But to say, well, did the sun set at 5 o'clock? Did it set at 6? I have no idea. And that there makes you uncomfortable. And it's just because you're out of control. And I feel like as humans, we always want to control. We have everything here, especially with technology now. You could eat anything you want at any notice. You could do all these things. So we have complete control to go over there to say, well, you don't know what you're going to eat. You don't know when you're going to eat. Don't know what time it is. That itself is a game in your mind.
I don't know what time the sun sets in Texas, is it? But here in the summertime, we will be bright. The sun will still be up at after 10 p.m. in the summer, in the middle of the summer. And I remember going to California when I was 17, and it blew my mind that the sun rose at close to around 7 and it set around 7. I'm like, wait, it's still early, but the sun is setting. And that's what in the wintertime, and it's completely different. So it's like instead of a culture shock for you, it had to have been an environmental shock.
Yeah, and with time here, you at least look at your watch and say, "Oh, okay, well, at least it sets here at 5:30, or it sets here at 6." I ain't got a clue. For all I know, maybe it was 3, maybe it was 4. I have no idea. And the perception of time was just so kind of, I have no idea. But you're staying busy in your brain. I think this is just a theory of mine. Is it doesn't react to this is a TV show. The brain says, I'm starving to death. I'm dehydrated. I'm hurting. It's not sitting here. So it's all these senses are going off. It's not thinking, well, what time is it? I want to know. That's my Andrew want to have control type thing. But to try for it to figure out these times and any other things too, it was impossible,
So at some point, because of all the sensory overload of the environment and all the things you have to think about and on the stuff you're going through, was there do you eventually just sort of forget that you're on TV, that there's cameras filming and stuff? Do you kind of forget that eventually?
Yeah. So that's an interesting question. And So the initial shock, of course, of being on the show is you're butt naked and there's these camera people around, but that goes out the window really fast, or at least for me, it did. It was, my brain automatically went to, there's lions out here, there's hyenas, there's hippopotamus, there's hippos, there's all these things, the black mamba, the spitting cobra, there's all these things out here that can kill me, and you say, well, it's a TV show. Yeah, but if you look, bad things can happen. And so your brain goes to that, not anything else. So it's almost like this. When I think back to the memory, it's almost like I had just like this. It was just tunnel vision on everything. And even my recollection of some of the memories that are there, it was like my brain was in survival mode.
Sounds like me in the first 3 months after having my kids. You just surviving. I called it zombie land.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about all these things that you can be potentially exposed to. And I can't even imagine. You must have like a shopping list of immunizations and booster shots that you had to get before you could even go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, there was a lot of different vaccines and stuff. I know that, and that was another thing that was in my mind too, was parasites. Not just the things, the big scary things, the lions, the elephants, and all those things, but the things you can't see, the parasites that are the mosquitoes carry, that what's in your water, do you actually boil it long enough? And because like perception of time was off, it was like, well, did I boil that water for 5 minutes? Did I boil it for 10? So it was always kind of like, well, you second guess yourself because your room for error is so small in those survival situations to say, well, this has to be cooked all the way, or this has to be boiled, or whatever, because there's so many things that could knock you out, not just the big things.
Yes, the little things you can't see.
I was going to say that first night when you started hearing the different sounds of the neighborhood, did that freak you out any? I mean, you're probably used to, like I am in Atlanta, you got the cars, the birds, maybe an owl, but at night, no lines.
Yeah. And so that was, and that's another thing that makes Naked and Afraid. There's just so many challenges to it is, well, how many people can say, oh, I wake up to a lion at night, hearing a lion or an elephant or things that I don't even know what they are. Maybe that it was a lion. Maybe it was a Cape buffalo. Maybe it was whatever, I don't know what that sounds like, at zoos, you hear these things, or you may not even hear them at all. They're just kind of tame or whatever, but you're around these wild animals and I'm like, I don't know what that was. So the first little bit, it's a shock, and that adds to the part of being naked and afraid is that, all the elements that are tearing you down, it's like the environment's against you, that it's not, but yourself's against you, but the environment, every little thing knows you're there. And it's like it wants to knock you out, whether it's literally or not, but it's like there's so many things against you.
Starts to get you thinking, like, are we prey or predators?
Well, that's the interesting thing, especially with this episode, and we want to think that we're top of the food chain as humans. And even in the United States, maybe we are to the most degree, but when you're in some of these other countries like Africa, it's who do you, if you face to face with a lion or an elephant, do you want to look it in the face and say, I'm at the top of the food chain? And I might not want to say that, because he might be saying, well, let's find out.
Yeah, it's not the Lion King.
Yeah, exactly.
Just take him out with an eraser.
Cynthia says, how long did it take you to fly to Zambia? And did you have 2 or 3 days to recuperate before starting the actual challenge?
Yeah, so that was another thing on itself, was different time zones, and you get into a schedule. Obviously, it's different times here in Africa versus there, but it took me several days to get there, and that was another thing that was so weird about flying was, I may be wrong, and y'all correct me. It's either I went backwards in time getting there, or I went forward in time. I can't remember how it worked, but I thought it was so weird. I'm like, so I'm behind them or I'm ahead of them? I can't remember, because I was there. It was during Easter, and that was a really interesting thing. Was you have Easter, you have Passover, and I'm in Qatar, and you're seeing all these different cultures in this airport. And I thought that was like the coolest thing, to be able to see because being from little East Texas, you don't really see a whole lot. We're all pretty much Christian and stuff like that. Christianity's here. But to see all these cultures all together, that was really cool. But to answer your question, yeah, it took me a couple of days to get there, and then several hours to get to South Africa, and then to Zambia. It was several days, and then it gave me a little bit of time to rest before I went out there.
What was your last meal before saying, okay, this is it? I know it wasn't McDonald's.
No, it was. So my last meal here at home was I ate me a ribeye steak, and I love steak. So that may be cliche for a lot of people, but my last meal here before the challenge, I honestly can't remember what it was. Like I said, there's certain things that are my memory's kind of skewed on as far as details. And I wrote them down to try to help me remember them before we got out. But I can't remember what they fed me right before. I know I was very pumped, and I did not eat much. And I thought, well, this might get me. But there was just something in me that I was just so amped, and just the environment around me. Well, I didn't really have much of an appetite beforehand.
Wow. And no caffeine. I don't know if you're a coffee drinker.
Oh, no. Yeah, I got rid of all that. So I'll give you a little bit of side story. So one of the things I'm very grateful for Naked and Afraid for this, and not many people know about this, but a lot of people are about to. So I'd been on antidepressants most of my life, and that was something that I knew, well, I probably need to work off of to go on Naked and Afraid, because I wasn't sure, okay, would they let me take my medication or not? And I was like, well, even if they would, I wasn't even going to ask. I'm going to work on getting off of it. And that was something that I was able to accomplish, that over 20 years of being on medication, that I was able to battle off and get off of the medication. And now I've been off for a year. So I'm very grateful for that. That was one of the things that I gave up to make sure to give myself the best opportunity to succeed out there. But one, it was a personal battle that I wanted to win with, not just the caffeines and the fast food and stuff like that.
That's interesting.
And what a like sink or swim type of situation to go off of it too.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm real big on the mindset and healing the body and the mind. And so I put in a lot of work to do that, and I slowly worked my way off. And I finally got to the point, well, to make it on Naked and Afraid, to be able to give myself the best opportunity to succeed out there, this is the final jump to do it. And I was able to succeed. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, that right there is brave. I mean, a lot of people are, I don't want to say addicted, but it's hard to, once you've used them as a crutch. So that's,
yeah. For me, it was, I wouldn't call it addicted. Yeah, for me, it was definitely a crutch, but it was kind of a dependent at the very least. I was very dependent on them, and my mind was like, we can't live without this, and that's just part of building that. If you could do such a thing like that and control the brain to say, I can do this, you can try to do everything, and that was something that really built me up for Naked and Afraid.
No, it's pretty admirable. Yeah. So yeah, like Glenn said, there's not a lot of people who have the strength to do that.
Yeah.
Going in, you probably had an idea or some sort of mind, like mental image of what it would be like. What was it completely different than what you imagined, or was it pretty close?
Yeah, it's nothing you can imagine. And I said it a lot on when I was out there in my mindset, and even now, like, you don't know what you don't know. And it's like we talk about what we think we know and what it would be like to live this life, where it's like, oh, imagine being a billionaire. Well, you can't truly, because you never felt it. You've never felt it. And it's the same thing with saying, well, going on Naked and Afraid, what's that going to be like? Well, I've seen it on TV. It's going to be this, this, and this. You can't understand it. The amount of, I'll say suffering, the amount of things you have to endure to be able to do that is like, you can't comprehend it. How many people how can you experience something that you've never done, whether it's your feet hurting or your starvation or dehydration or anything that someone goes into that experiences on the show, until you experience those things, you'll never be able to comprehend it. So getting ready for it and to say, oh, this is what I think it's going to be. Sure. I thought of that, but no, it was not what I thought it would be. It was one, very fulfilling. I did not know that it was going to feel this good to go on it, but also any of the trials and tribulations that went along with it. I didn't expect those either.
Do you feel like you grew as a person through this experience?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that, I try to, control the ego. Part of me feels like I just did something that, let's just say, I don't know the numbers, but let's just say 99% of Americans can't do. Maybe even 99% of the world's population can't do. And to say that I worked that hard to do that and to in my opinion, succeed at it, not to give away spoilers, but in my opinion, to be able to succeed in it, it makes me very proud. But also, I don't want to ever be arrogant to, have those type of emotions to come off as an arrogant person. Not to say that most people on Naked and Afraid that I've met aren't arrogant. They're overall seem like very good people overall that control those things. And I never want to be someone that's like, oh, he's just a butthead, because he thinks he did this, and this. And yeah, I don't ever want to be that person.
It's like a fine line between arrogance and confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes confidence can come off as arrogance depending on the person, but also it can also be molded into being confident turns into arrogance.
Were you an outdoorsman before this? Did you camp, hunt, fish, anything?
Yeah. So I've always, I'm more of a hiker. I love going for walks in the woods and exploring and stuff like that. I remember when I was a little boy with my dad, we would walk way back into the woods, which it was now as an adult, I walk the same thing and it's not as far as what I thought it was. It's still a couple miles. But when I was a kid, I was like, man, we got to be close to Colorado by now, And so I've always loved going for those walks. And then even my grandfather, my pop, we'd always go fishing in this little old flat bottom aluminum boat, and so the outdoors has always been fun. Now, as far as like I don't consider myself necessarily a survivalist, so to say. I consider it more of I've loved challenges, and whatever those challenges presents to me, whether that is surviving, I'll do that, but I've always enjoyed the outdoors, but also that's just kind of a way of life around here. We're just in such a small area, wooded area, that even just getting out of your house, you're kind of, to some people's standards, you're in the woods.
Yeah. And when, let's see, how do I want to word this so that we don't get in trouble? As you were going through this show and realizing I've made it through one day, I've made it through 2 days, how did you keep the energy up to keep going? I know, aside from the fact that you need food, water, and all that, how did you push yourself?
Yeah. So, and that was tough, and it was, for me, every day was different as far as where do you find the motivation to get up, keep going, and to do it, because obviously you're uncomfortable. Even the people to the keyboard warriors out there that says they got it easy. And I'm not trying to insult anyone that has said that, but we've all seen the comments. Even there, that they're not in a soft, cushy bed. They're not in those, and the brain's automatically saying, "Dude, why we got to do this? Why are we doing this? And so I think it's a natural thing to do it, and so each day is different as far as why you get up, why you keep going, and how to do those things.
Yeah.
Was there?
No, I was going to say, go ahead, Jen. No, I didn't have another question.
I was going to say, what was was there any skills that you were able to bring from your life forward to kind of help you? And did that knowledge surprise you?
Well, for me, it was more of, I always thought I could do it. I feel like I can pretty much do anything. If someone gave me the right opportunity in life, no matter what it is, to be able to figure out and do it. And it's not to say that, oh, I'm overly intelligent. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I just figure it out. And when I was out there, there were certain things I'm like, well, I may lack in this or I may lack in that. But part of me was the resilience to say, I'm going to figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to do it right now, but I'm going to be able to figure it out. And that was a big thing. And one of the thoughts that I had, I was like, well, people used to live this way to some degree.
Yeah.
And they seem to make it just fine, right? So it's, if they can figure it out without the intelligence of, well, exactly why fire is created, or this is exactly why fish spawn here, or this is why they do that. They had no knowledge of why that was. And because I do, it's like, well, I can figure that out. Now that doesn't come without the obstacles. And, you'll be able to see even the show this Sunday, that what you think may not always work there, and you see it time and time again on Naked and Afraid, where they're like, I do this all the time at home. I always do this. This always works, but it's not working here. There are so many elements, whether the humidity's different, the wood's different, everything's different, but also the emotions that you're feeling. You're in a controlled environment at home. You're out there butt naked, the sun on your bare butt, bugs already swarming you, gnats, whatever it is. So you're not as in your environment, and just the littlest things can keep you from making fire easy or catching fish or whatever it is that you're trying to do.
How yeah, because it started as soon as you start getting frustrated. Like if it when I'm at home and I'm trying to do something and I get frustrated, it's like, forget it, I can't do it. I can't even imagine, like, you have to control your emotions and figure these out, and it's not necessarily for comfort, it's for survival.
Yeah, and that's, picture that, as people at home, talking about, oh, he's getting angry or he's getting frustrated. He needs to control his emotions, or she, or whoever. It's easy to say that whenever you're in a controlled, AC'd environment, but people that talk like that or judge on the show, in the comments, it's, you don't know what you don't know. It's easy to sit there and say, well, I do it this way, I do it that way. And it's just not that simple, when you have nature, you have that country, you have the energy, you have the history, you have all this. It feels like against you, and you're like, what is going on? What? It's almost like a supernatural thing that just says, it ain't gonna be that easy. And it never is. It rarely is that easy. When you're watching the show, it's rarely that easy.
The only thing I can equate it to is going from having no kids to having kids, and all of a sudden your life changes, your perspective changes, your mindset changes. You can't sleep. Heaven forbid you go to the bathroom. It's like you can't do anything because you've got this obligation, and you're responsible for keeping this person alive. That's the closest thing that I can equate your experience to, but I can't even imagine what you went through.
Yeah. No, it's, and everybody, and that's exactly how I was thinking was, to say, well, what's the hardest thing I've ever had? What's the most painful thing? And I tried to just run these things through my mind, to say, well, we made it through those, or this is how we did it. But even still, there's just nothing that, other than doing it, that can ever correlate to that. It's just, there's things, everybody has their own experiences on things to say, well, maybe it's like this, or maybe, I promise you, it's one of those things that I wish, to be honest, I wish everybody could experience, to be honest with you. I wish maybe it's like a high school class or something that's everybody says, okay, well, you're with clothes on, or at the very least, but y'all going to go out there and you're going to go through this. But it gives you a new perspective of life. And it's like I said, I wish I could plug y'all into my brain and be able to feel and see the things that I do. And there's so many people that I've also talked to on the show that feel the same I do. And I'm like, it's amazing feeling to get a new perspective of life and the environment and things. And it's like, I feel bad for everyone else that can't feel that, like my energy's getting good right now because I feel so good, talking about it.
One thing,
and that's crazy to say, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's crazy to say because I just had the thought. I was like, Andrew, you look at the first minute and a minute video they released of y'all, and you're sitting here saying that's fulfillment. So, I can't wait for everyone to see the episode, 2-hour episode.
One of the things that has always surprised me, and I know it has to be the adrenaline and then the dump when you're hunting and you have something that you haven't had in a while, whatever it may be, that emotions where you just kind of almost start crying and you just kind of let go because you feel like, well, this was here and I just took its life.
Yeah. So, it is an emotional thing. One, it's so many, and everybody's experience when they finally, get their first meal, especially if it's a living animal, it's different for each person. And it's a different connection, but it's finally that because it's so like, and it's going to sound very maybe cliche or like over the top, but it's like you feel connected to the universe in a way. Like I'm that fish or I'm that thing. And we're all connected to it. And when you take its life, it's like, this is keeping me going. And it's something that no one can really truly understand until they experience it. You go to the grocery store and you don't say, oh, wow, thank you, cow. You know, it's a totally different feeling, you know, than that, because I don't know if it's the universe and like a paranormal type thing, or if there's something scientific, or if it's as simple as that's just what the brain does in survival mode. You know, I'm not really sure, but it is a very interesting thing when you finally say, here's this creature and I'm going to kill it right here to keep me going, even though we do it every day, you know, especially if you eat meat, you know, yeah, we just don't see it.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we're ignorant to, that if we didn't have, you know, like if we had to do it ourselves, we would feel much different about it, I would imagine. Like,
yeah, I think so. And I think that's, you know, that's something that was, you know, kind of made me think, you know, when during all this is, we don't know what we don't know. And that we get so lulled in our everyday life, you know, of just going through the motions. There's some food, there's this, there's that, but there's countries even now, even in Africa, and I got to see them, you know, that don't have that luxury as we do. And that they're closer to what we were doing on Naked and Afraid, as far as how they get their food and things like that. Don't know when their next meal is going to be. And there's still people that exist in the world that live that way. And we take that as just natural life here. There's food, open a fridge, and there it is. And even to this day, that not everybody has that luxury.
That's scary that you think about that. I mean, you know, because all the kids and stuff. But yeah. And did you get a chance either before or after to meet any of the local people?
Yeah. So it was there was locals there throughout the whole thing, where we were at, that, you know, took care of us, and then even after that took care of us. But even driving to the airport, you know, from where we were, from the closest city was, you know, like 7 hours. I mean, it was a long drive, but you pass through these little, I call them villages, you know, they're almost like huts in a way. And that's what they live in, you know. And now to them, I'm sure they don't think it is very bad necessarily. That's just their way of life. Now, there are some that are worse cases than others, and you see commercials of them, you know, the poor children and stuff. And you could see the children, and some of them, you know, to United States standards would say, well, they're not taken care of, or they're not good, you know, or not in the best of shape, you know, to the standard of the United States. But to them, that's just another day. It's just another Tuesday, you know, that's their life. What else are they going to do, you know? And, you know, it makes me want to, I've felt connected to Africa. I never in my wildest dream thought the first place I would go outside the country was Africa. But it makes you feel for them, you know, and it makes you, in talking about this, nobody can truly understand it until you see the poor little child that is just bones, or, you know, whatever that's going on, you know. And until you experience it, I wish there was a way for Americans, like I said, whether it's through high school or something like that, to go on a field trip to one of these countries and say, this is what you experience here in America is a luxury that not everyone has. And it's something that's very, makes me very grateful, you know.
Yeah, we're like kings to something like that. Yeah. And some people,
if any of us wanted to go live in Zambia or most of these countries, I mean, we're very, very well off compared to a lot of places. And, you know, here we're worried about, you know, getting our raises and this and that, and we need to make more money. We're very well off compared to a lot of places. And that's something I didn't ever think of. You know, I've seen it. It was like in my brain when I'd see these commercials, I'm like, well, that sucks, but, you know, what am I going to do about it? You know, and then once you see it and you feel it, it's like, well, I want to do something about it.
I always think of the old Sam Kinison joke about, doesn't somebody on the camera crew have a sandwich? You know?
Yeah, no, everyone was very respectful on the camera crew and the producers and stuff. You know, of course, that crossed my mind. I was like, maybe they'll like drop a snack or something, and I'm not going to tell anybody. I promise you that never
sneak
happened,
up on behind somebody and like pick their pocket.
Yeah, not looking for money. I'm looking for a snack. Yeah, no, there's none of that. Like, I've seen a lot of comments in the new season. Oh, it's staged or it's this and that. There's no staging to this thing. Naked and Afraid is as real as it gets. The suffering's real. The highs and the lows when they're so happy, that's real. When they're crying and all this and that. That may be why I had so much problem with dehydration. I was just sitting there crying. I don't know. But it's real. There's nothing staged about it.
Do they have like a contingency plan for serious injuries?
Yeah, they're not gonna, if something bad happens, they're gonna make sure you're taking care of it, which I've seen, some of the episodes where people had to get emergency evacuated for different reasons. As a fan of the show, there's some of them. I think they were filming in Louisiana or Florida, I can't remember, but there was a hurricane and they had to evacuate them while they were filming it. And then some of them, they get heat strokes or heat exhaustion, and so they have to take them out. So they do make sure that it's real. If you have that heat stroke, that's a real heat stroke. If you get, sliced and you have to get stitches, those are real stitches. But they make sure that they, to their best ability, that you're taken care of.
Just stitched up and sent back.
I have seen that on some of the shows. As a fan, there's some of them where they split something and they stitch them up right there and back at it.
Oh, I'm a medic, but I would never do that. So. Different kind of treatment, but how long did it take you to get used to? You said we see on the show they drive you out in the pickup and then you do the little thing. All right, I'm going to get naked. How long did it take to find your partner for one, and then you have that Adam and Eve type of hiding yourself?
How did you focus?
Yeah, I guess that's the better way.
I was never focused. It's one of those things that it's just so much and that's why my memory sometimes real bad on things, remembering things. And because when I'm going through it and I'm even, when I think about it now, it's like I wasn't there. It's like there was and the best way I can describe it in my mind, like I'm a drone over everything and I'm scanning for all these things that could hurt me. And that, for me, it never goes away. It's constantly, making sure I don't step on a black mamba or a speeding cobra or a lion in the bushes, And so could it get to where someone gets used to it? Like, let's say the natives, are they used to that? Or are they constantly on edge watching for those things? I'm not sure, but I just don't see how, at least for me as it is, that you could ever just say, oh yeah, that's just a black mamba. There's just a old speeding cobra over there. There's old elephant. And, it's like, I don't know, you get used to that,
Yeah. Andrew, one of the questions we always ask every guest before we let them go, because we're only allowed to keep you for an hour, is, have you ever had a paranormal experience? Ever seen a Bigfoot? Anything like that?
Well, as a Christian, I'm very, I'm spiritual. And so there's always things that you think, oh, is that a demon or this and that? But I can't say for sure. But one of the things that I wanted to see, maybe if there's anybody else that had this thought, it's about UFOs. Could they be people from the future? And those are time machines. And they're not aliens as we know them. And I wanted to see, has anybody ever said that or had that thought? Because I was saying something to somebody about that the other day, and they're like, what, dude? Like, that's crazy. What, that's true, What do y'all think of that?
I've thought about that, like they're trying to come back and tell us don't push the red button or,
Well, see, I thought that, but maybe it's like not even that. It's almost like a zoo is to say that they come back time and they can watch us and say, look, they're actually watching history. Like we have history books and we can only read it, but they're able to come back and actually watch history. Almost like a Magic School Bus type show, except for we think they're UFOs, but it's time machines and they're coming back. Like, look at these idiots. They actually think this is healthy for them. Like back in the day, they thought heroin was going to be good for them. Look at that,
Drinking radium water was healthy.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, look at that. You know what I mean?
If I suppose if you were in the woods naked.
Yeah. They're like, look at this dude. Like, he don't have to live that way. He's naked and suffering.
Texas, what are you doing down there?
Well, I can imagine, if we went back 100 or like hundreds of years and stuff, what would we think of the
Right.
people
See
that
that
lived then?
exactly. Like, let's say we had a ship and we could sit there and watch them do whatever they're doing back in the 1300s. We're
Yeah.
like, they're burning people, they're having the
They're
witch
like
things. It's like, what
draining
idiots,
blood because they think that their blood is bad. Well, they're sick. Why are
Yeah,
you draining their blood?
Yeah, we would think that.
I
We
kind
would
of
like,
need
what
that.
idiots, Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
it's the same thing. They're going back and they're like, look at this,
Yeah. I can't imagine, like in 100 or so years, people are going to look at us and think, what were they thinking?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like, they actually thought they were intelligent back then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like they ate peanut butter. It's so bad for, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be like that. It could be, because
Yeah.
just think, back in the day, there were so many things they were for certain that it was good for them, and it turned out it was terrible. And it's the same thing now. How many things are we for certain on,
Well, I mean,
that later in the future won't we?
yeah, exactly. I mean, like how many things in the last couple decades have we learned, oh, you guys, when you used to do that? Well, that's bad. It's bad to put lead paint on toys. But, for how many years do we do it?
Yeah.
Exactly. That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
I remember in school, the teachers used to smoke in a high school. We had a smokers lounge. Doctors would even smoke. So, and now it's kind of like, ooh, they stink. Get away.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, I just wonder, maybe that's what it is, but obviously, I love the supernatural. I would love to see the smoking gun of different things. And I have different theories as far as what certain things I thought about, like ghosts. What if the ghosts aren't actually spirits, but maybe like in parallel universes, their universe slipped over. So we're able to see them for a moment, same as somebody in our universe is seeing me here, and it's like, oh, I see this guy in a red shirt with a necklace on, and it's a ghost. He must have died here. And it's like, no, it's a different universe. So I'll have all these theories about things, but as far as like experiencing something that says, oh, he's not completely insane, there's not too much, but I would love to be able to go on a ghost hunt or something like that and see something.
Yeah, and one of the things I would think, especially down where you were, that first night laying there looking up at the stars, how different it is from not only that hemisphere, but no light pollution, no noise pollution.
Well, yeah, it's you see different stars because the tilt of the earth's different. There's a good chance that sky that I've never seen before. But one of the things I had thought about was like the moon. And I'm like, there's, people back home that I love. It's like, wonder if they're looking at that moon, which it would be during the day, but sometimes how it's positioned, or the sun, if it's setting here, is it rising there? And that we're looking at the same sun, or vice versa. I thought about those things and stuff like that. But there's so many things that I just can't even describe, the thoughts that I've had, from looking up at the stars. There's, being able to see them so clearly, but knowing that I've never seen that sky before. And I'll probably never see it again. The people and the places, the smells and things like that. It's quite an experience, and something that I'm very grateful for the producers for giving me the chance and to be on it, and doing the best that I can with it.
You mentioned the smells. How long does it take before you just stink?
Well, I don't know, because it's like, I always thought about this. I was like, do stinky people know that they stink? Because if they know they stink, would they not want to stink? And once I got out there, it's like, either I don't stink like I think I do, or y'all are really professional, the people around me, like, for not being like, God, this guy stinks. Or I just can't smell myself, just like the stinky people can't smell themselves, or they would not be stinky, So I don't really know, to be honest. It could have been right off the bat, and they're like, God, that's like a record. He stinks in like 10 or 3 hours, or it could have been like, oh, wow, he's doing really good. It's been 48 hours, So I'm not sure.
Imagine they weren't coming up to you and giving you a hug. They might have noticed.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that. It is, you're out there. It's me and Nicole, and that's what it is, basically. It's, of course, they've got cameras going nonstop, but they're not there. Don't say, hey, dude, can you help me with this? Oh, hey, dude, No.
Yeah.
If you
So
can't do
they're
it,
far
you-
enough away, they wouldn't be able to smell anything.
Oh, I mean, obviously from the minute clip that they got, oh, they close enough. They gonna see some stuff. I mean, they're you all right? You know, I'm like, you know, so you know, so they're there, but they're not there to help you. They're strictly there to document and make sure that they capture it. And they did a wonderful job, even with my very revealing and whatever state that I was in that clip that they released. And I'm sure they got even more very vulnerable and awkward positions of me and even Nicole, I'm sure, through this, which we'll be able to find out this weekend or Sunday.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So when you got out, when you were done with everything and you were coming home, what's the first real meal you ate?
So once I got home, I was craving it so bad. I wanted, and I love, there's two things I really, really wanted. I wanted chips and salsa, and I wanted some popcorn. That was my thing. I needed it. I was like, I need it. But chips and salsa and popcorn, that's what I was gunning for.
Now, did you
make
ever eating again?
Do what?
I'm sorry, Andrew, I cut you. Did you have to build yourself up from eating to maybe eating a full meal? Or?
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, when your body goes through, you know, those things of not eating very much or at all, you know, depending on the person's situation, not to give, you know, anything away, but, you know, every survivalist is different. But the best way I can describe when you're going out there, it's kind of like, let's say you've got a budget and you're trying to control your electric bill. So you unplug the microwave, you unplug this. I don't need that. You know, you only have the necessities plugged in. It's the same thing when you don't have much food or nutrition in your body. It says, well, what do I need? And if you have nothing in your digestive system, then you don't need your digestive system. It'll basically turn it off. And then once you finally get to where you can eat again, it has to kind of reboot itself and stuff like that. There was, you know, which is a big thing for the fan challenge, you know, because me and Nicole are big fans. There was a lady, I can't remember her name, and I'm sorry for it being rude, I can't remember her name, but there was an episode where she didn't poop for like over 3 weeks, you know, and that was one of the big things in the episode. And that was her digestive. There wasn't nothing to digest, so there's no need to have it, you know. And I think there were certain things, and maybe other survivalists can even speak on it too, is kind of like, for me anyways, like the memory thing. I would think the brain doesn't need to record memories of this. It's just thinking, well, I don't need that, so I'm going to turn it off, you know. So it basically keeps your body going with what it needs. And if it doesn't need it, it's not getting it.
Like it's only turning on the one candle if you need it. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Everything else, unplug it. Mm-hmm.
I suppose if the experience has those qualities that you don't want to remember, your brain might shut those off too.
Well, and I thought of that before, was like, you know, maybe it was my brain reacted to this as a very traumatic experience. So it was like, well, I don't want to remember all that stuff because during the whole time it was suffering, it was hurting, you know, so why do I want to remember that? So I thought of that before too, you know, on why certain things may be a little foggy.
Well, like you said, you only need to keep so many things, and that might be, you know, one of them. Now, did you probably, I don't know if you can say, did you get to see any of the predators, the lions, the elephants, the crocodiles, or?
So I will say this. I got to experience Africa and all its beauty and wrath and vengeance and everything that it has to offer, the good and the bad. And that I'm very grateful to be able to experience all those things. It was basically Andrew and Nicole versus Africa.
Are you going to have a watch party now?
Yeah. So what I was going to do, I was going to watch it, just soak it all in and everything. And then I was going to have one at a later date on it.
So like all the family together with chips, salsa, and popcorn?
There you go. So exactly something like that, and just kind of just soak it all, because there's a lot of attention coming from. It's a big show. Everybody loves Naked and Afraid. And everybody's wanting to talk about it now that we can talk about it to some degree. That it's just trying to balance those things, but also enjoy the moments too. Because you only get your first time on Naked and Afraid once. And I decided not to have a big thing, and more just my immediate people, and then
They'll send you a bloopers reel, do they?
everything's if it's a blooper, it's probably going to make it, to be honest with you. If I said something ridiculous, it's probably going to be there. Or if it's like, look at this guy, whatever. So I'm sure my whole episode will be a blooper, and everybody's like, what's up with this dude?
Well, you're right.
So klutzy. I'm so klutzy. Yeah. I'd be like tripping all over the place, and they'd be showing all that.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, what I step in. Oh, that's just monkey doo doo. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's just elephant poo poo. Oh, well, I don't know what type that is, but whatever. It's got a bone in it, so that ain't good.
Well, Andrew, thank you for coming on. There's so many questions I got, and I know you can only answer so many. And I'm going to be watching it. I'm sure Jim will be.
Definitely.
It's interesting to hear a little bit more than what the teaser gets, and then have a personal connection to it. Like, I'm sure you and Nicole will probably always be attached at the hip in some way.
Oh yeah, Nicole. That's one of those bonds that you'll never lose that, and you can never duplicate anything like that. And even my experience, even here, and later on when you talk to Nicole, I guarantee it's going to be a whole nother experience, and it may think like, how did they just have the same thing, but have two different recollections and experiences of what they feel? While there will be some similarities, it's just how we perceive things. That's why we have so many different religions and political views and all these things, but how we personally perceive things, and I can't wait to see Nicole in a little bit, talk about her experiences, and they're going to be different than mine, but I can assure you we were there together the whole time.
All right. Well, Andrew, will you come back after the show's on sometime and talk with us?
I would love to, and we'll be able to kind of dive deeper into some of the things without the spoilers and things about the show, and be able to answer more questions of, well, Andrew, that was stupid right there. Why'd you do that? We'll go deeper into those things.
You stepped in the monkey poo once. Why did you do it twice?
Yeah, why'd you do it again? Why do you keep coming back to that?
All right.
Exactly.
Well, we'll try and get you and Nicole back on the same night. Maybe we can get you together, and we'll just have a big Q&A and fun party.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I would love to. Have one more thing that Nicole and I have done together. That would be amazing.
Okay, we can make it happen. Yeah, I'm excited for the show. I'm excited that I got to meet you, and I thank you for going. That maybe not something a lot of people say, but thank you for going, because remember, it's really for our enjoyment, So thank you.
Yep. Thank you. And so you're the first person to say that, and I thought of that before. Like, it is for entertainment, and it's real. They give up their bodies for entertainment, and so thank you for that.
And then you come away with epiphanies.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I just what you were saying about the medicine, you did something a lot of people, really have never done. Yeah. So, all right. Well,
and I got to give it all to Naked and Afraid. Thank you, Naked and Afraid.
All right, Andrew. Let me get you out of here so we can bring Nicole out. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for doing the show. Not just ours, their show, and we'll get you back soon.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night and be safe.
Yeah, you too.
That was great. All right.
Yeah, well, I had so many more questions.
I know. As always, the hour goes by so quick. All right. Well, let me stay legal here in Australia and push a button.
It's the howl of Cobain, the thunder of Grohl, a rebel transmission straight to the soul. Vinyl and venom, sweat in the sound. We don't play background, we tear it down.
Coming up next on Radio X, your ultimate rock destination,
Sportcat's Daily Gazette is about to hit your ears.
Well,
Weird
it's
news,
not really
mad
the Daily
stories,
Gazette.
and chaos served with a grin. From the outrageous to the downright ridiculous, Sportcat will cover it all because normal is boring.
Stay tuned. Things are about to get interesting.
Radio X, the fire, the foundation. Fueling the dream with no hesitation. The volumes of vow, the airwaves, our nation. This is my station, my rock destination.
And welcome back. This is not Sportcat's Daily Gazette. It's the Sportcat Show. Thank you for everybody tuning in. And please remember to come over and hit the subscription button, the thumbs up button, because we're going to be having some more contestants on reality TV shows, including Naked and Afraid. So we will have that. And as you know, we always have two guests. In case you're just tuning in, we have a second guest tonight. And she also experienced the same things, but maybe a little bit different than Andrew did. Nicole, let's bring her out here. Hello, Nicole. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys?
We're good.
It's past my bedtime, so you're going to get some rare form here. No, I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited to be here.
Good.
I hear you're a mom.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Oh, yes. We're going to start with that. Love it. Yes. Mom of 2,
I know.
13 and 11.
Oh, I'm a mom of 2 as well. I hear you have boys.
Boy and girl. Best of both
Boy
worlds.
and girl.
And I am
okay.
done.
Yeah. No, I've got 2. They're 9 and 11. And my first thoughts were, part of me was thinking, man, it would be nice to be away from them for a while. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, how could I be away from them for so long? At the same time, but then you're doing something for yourself as well.
So it starts off like for, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this for my kids and for other people. But when it comes down to it, it's really for you. So as a mom, you're like, is this selfish? Is this a good thing? You're a mom brain. So you go through those motions and you're like, am I doing the right thing? But in the end, sneak peek, I did the right thing.
Do you feel that being a mom helped you in some way? Like either mindset or drive or motivation?
So as a fan of the show, as we learned from Andrew that we came on as fans, super fans, right? So seeing all the past episodes, it was kind of a trend in my mind where it's like this big military man, like works out every day, muscles, maybe only makes it to day 2, but you get the mom of 6 and she rocks it. So as a fan, I was like, okay, there has to be something here. Right. And I just think we're built a little bit different because we have to be in our mind all the time and care for others at the same time. So yes, I definitely think it prepared me for this challenge for sure.
Yeah. I can't say I would be prepared. I mean, I have 2 boys as well that are very busy boys, but even like the thought of just being in the middle of nowhere naked on television.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of this show started because of my daughter. It was kind of something that we connected with. And my daughter is definitely a tomboy. So she's out there. If it doesn't matter if it's poisonous or not. If it's a snake, she's picking it up. If it's a spider, she's picking it up. But if you step on it, she'll cry. So, you got to care and love the animals. But it started for my family at first, and it brought us together. And the show did that. And we were able to kind of practice together, build traps together. And then it just got really carried away until I went to Africa.
Yeah. And now you're like, I have stories that, you're not going to experience.
Exactly. But, at the end of the day, as a mom, you want your kids to wake up one day and look at you and just be really proud of your mom. I look up to my mom, and I hope one day they can look at this as crazy as they think it is. I hope one day it can inspire them and many other children around to just do what you have to do no matter the cost.
Yeah,
Kudos to you.
that was going to be one of my questions as a parent.
Oh,
Do you
I'm
ever
sorry.
want to tell your, no, you're good. As a parent, you always say, gosh, I hope they don't make the same mistakes I do. Is that you would say, gosh, I hope they don't do something like this.
True. Well, there's a lot of those before Africa. As a kid, I was not the best kid. So I'm like, please don't be that. But let's fast forward to this part of my life, right? No, really going out there was absolutely life-changing. You're going to find out on Sunday if I made it or not, but I'm a strong-willed person in my mind. And when I put my mind to something, I'm going to put my all into it. And if I don't make it or if I don't succeed, I'm still going to walk away from it very proud, standing tall. And I just really hope that can kind of shed to my children. Like, we're not always going to make things happen. We're not always going to predict the future. It may not work the way we want, but it's how you pivot and how you overcome those obstacles. And I really think that's the bigger picture of this challenge for my kids.
You sound like you went into it more of like a challenge than, I don't want to call it a game, but it is a reality show. But you look at it through a screen. We look at it different. To us, it's almost like a game. But
right.
You looked at it like a challenge. Like, okay. And so did you set goals during the show? Like, draw a line in the sand. I made 1 day, I made 2 days, I made 3 days. Or did it all run together?
Absolutely. Yes. I have always, since the day I first started watching the show, I really, truly believed that it was 90% mental, 10% skill. And, I've just, since I was 12, I've been working, I've been pushing the limits in so many things. I'm a business owner, multiple business owner. I'm just like a power mom, a power pusher, and I just don't stop. It's actually a fault of mine. It's not a good thing. My husband's like, slow down, stop. But we're always pushing and we're always doing. And it's like, I just had to get in the mindset of, challenge. Yes, it was not a game. It was a challenge, but in my mind, not necessarily a challenge for the show. It was just a challenge in my mind. Can I do it? Do I have the strength? Do I have the mindset? And we'll find out Sunday if I do. But again, if I didn't, walk away proud and still stand up tall at the end.
And then once you get there, that task-oriented mother mind,
out the window.
Yeah. You're just like, oh my goodness, I'm totally not prepared. Yeah.
Right. So, to prepare for the challenge, I did so many things. So I'd say anywhere from December to April of last year, if you saw me in the parking lot of a grocery store, a Walmart, the bank, I was shoeless. So I had the sandals, even in dead winter, I'd have the sandals in my hand and I'm walking shoeless and my kids are yelling at me like, Mom, put on your shoes. Right. So a lot goes into it to prepare. I didn't know I was going to Africa until very, very late in the challenge. So something that I always feared was the cold. I'm from Vermont originally. You would think I would be okay with it, but I'm in Myrtle Beach now. I'm a beach girl and the cold scares the crap out of me. So I didn't know if I was going to Alaska, to the Amazon, to Africa. I didn't know. So a lot of things you had to prepare for, being cold, being in the dark, being without anything, no blankets, nothing. So a lot goes into it, not only mentally, but physically. And I did a lot of different weird things. So I guess my challenge started maybe 6 months before I even left for Africa. That's where that challenge started. I did things that was out of my norm and it was pretty cool.
When I was thinking about it just now, this might be too personal, but you were thinking about a lot of things, but your body as a woman goes through different things than we do. So how the heck do you prepare for that? I'm a paramedic.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So as women, we're just always going through this cycle of change. Like my husband will say, well, I'm a Gemini too. So you add that to the mix and it's like, I'm always changing. You don't know who you're going to get. You don't know which type of body you're going to get. But yeah, we're always going through things. I think this is kind of on a side subject, but I think my favorite part of the prepping and the change of my body was my, I guess, goal. Just the way I thought that it would work is I'm like, I'm going to plump up. I'm going to get fat on me. And if I lose it, I have more days to lose it. So I was eating everything. I was like this monster mom who was like, had a steak in one hand and a chicken in the other. So, talk about changes. My body changed in weight, in mentally, physically, emotionally. So really, 6 months to a year, my body went through a lot of things.
How did you, I can't imagine how terrifying it would be, especially at nights. Like, how do you deal with the fear?
So something about me that a lot of people can tell you, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put my all into it. So I went in there saying, this is an awesome experience. So expect suffering, expect the dark. I've watched the show so many times. I kind of knew what I thought it would be like. So nighttime, at home, I would prep for the dark. I would go outside with no lights on, and with the moon, clouds, and I would sit there in the dark in my own mind. And I had to prep for that, because if it was just home to Africa, I would have gone crazy. I probably would have hugged the stranger, Andrew, and been like, come help me. But I needed to prepare it for myself.
Kind of makes you realize too, once you're out there and you're I mean, aside from you and Andrew, you're kind of alone, and it makes you realize how people got to living together in little communities.
It's crazy. It's wild. And, people think, I thought on the show, like, oh, they have the cameras, there has to be a light, they have to see something. It is pitch black. And let's say you do have a fire. Let's say you are lucky enough to build a fire, have a fire. That's actually more blinding than anything. So all of a sudden you're in this strange place. The noises, I know we'll talk about Bigfoot later, but everything sounds like Bigfoot. So you're like, is Bigfoot there? Is there an elephant? Is there, like, what is that? Is that a mouse? I don't know. So the dark is just, it's a scary place. And if you're not there mentally, you're screwed. You really are. You have to prepare for that.
I imagine the silence was almost deafening when it wasn't the whatever creatures they were out there. I mean, there's no noise pollution. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll be honest. That was the part I think I enjoyed the most. Being a mom and a business owner, I house 15 staff members. I have a family of 4, and everything is usually so loud in my life. So loud. Everything is going and going and going. And I can never actually hear my own thoughts. I know that sounds bad, but I don't. We're always thinking about others or the guest or my staff. So I think one of the positive parts of my experience was that silence and was being able to tap into my own thoughts and hear myself. It was probably a positive part of my experience.
Yeah, to me, it would be, I couldn't stand not having the noise. I have a brain disease, and if I don't hear something, my brain starts making up noises, and like the ringing in your ears and stuff, and it would just get louder and louder.
What's
and louder.
that? Yeah.
So I'd probably go nuts if it was that silence.
So something about my partner, Andrew, me and Andrew are buddies for life, but we both can talk. Andrew can talk more than me. So there was a lot of conversations that kept us busy too. I wasn't out there completely alone, and we had conversations that I will never forget. And they were wild. They went places.
Yeah. They drop you two off in different places, right? And you have to go. So once you were already alone and then you found your person, how long did it get you to feel like that was your person?
I'll be dead honest. So I'm a hugger. It's just in my nature, and I'm glad he was too. But you've seen the show, so you're like, do you hug them? Do you shake hands? Like, what do you do? And you know, you'll see on the show kind of the reaction, but I really felt an instant connection with Andrew. I don't know if he can say the same. I'm sure he can, because I don't think I would have felt that strong of a connection that quickly if he didn't feel that same way. But I think just to have like-minded people in such a crazy, chaotic experiment, because that's really what it is. It's an experiment. But to be like, okay, you're as crazy as me. We're doing this. Let's partner up and figure this out. Or we don't. I don't know. You'll find out.
Yeah. Like yeah, that's right. Because you guys, you're both there because you chose to be there.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. It's like, it would be different. Yeah. It would be different if you were said, no, you're going to do this. Go. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, and you're just out in the middle of this foreign place, and you just got dropped off a few days ago, and you're trying to acclimate to the weather and the noises, and now, mind you, you're naked for the first time. So you're like, and I'm not a nudist, you know, I'm comfortable with myself, but it's definitely not a pastime activity, you know. So you're just like, okay, yeah, this person's crazy. I know my boundaries. I know my respect. So I know I'm good in that realm. But yeah, if he's as crazy as me, let's partner up. Let's do this. Let's go.
Definitely be interesting.
It's interesting. That's the great word to put. Yes.
Like you said, you all will have stories that no one else will ever know about. So it is a bond. And he spoke highly of you. He told us that you would probably feel the same in a lot of ways, and in other ways you would almost feel different because, well, you're two different people for one, but when you come back and you decompress, that's when you kind of start letting everything sink in. Or I'm assuming, is that kind of how it was?
Absolutely. I mean, not to spoil anything because it won't, but just, you can look at each other's Facebooks, you can look at each other's social medias. Andrew and I are completely different. But in many ways, we're the same. So, you know, it's just, again, we're these two crazy people who want to do this crazy dream. And then you're forced to get to know each other very, very quickly. It's like speed dating, but you know that you have boundaries, right? He's married, I'm married. So like, we already put that out. Like, you know, so much so quickly, you know, like the really juicy details. And it's like, bam, let's do this. It's just wild. It's wild how it happens. The quickest date I've ever been through. Let's just say that.
Was it easy to like, you know, once you had a mission, like you have to survive, was the teamwork just, you melded together, or did you guys have conflicts of interest?
So I can't spoil too much, but I will say, that's okay. No, that's fine. I will say that I went in there saying, I am going to make whatever happens work. If my partner is this way, I'm going to just really try to make this work. So a goal of mine was, no matter who I was partnered with, I would do my best to make it work, to allow us both to finish this together. My goal was to not finish it alone. And I really just wanted that companionship, that partnership, because you do see some crazy things on this show. And, you know, whether you're opposites or not, I am just that type of person that really just wants to make this experience, this one in a lifetime experience, the best way I can. I don't want it to be ruined by, you know, a bad partner. And a bad partner, it takes two to tango, right? So if you're really, really bad, all right, let me just walk away. Right. So I just had to find these different things that I had to do personally to grow in order to make a partnership work. And that was my goal going in there.
I can see how easy it would be under the circumstances to get so frustrated. I mean, yeah.
Well, I love food. And again, I'm a Gemini, and it's funny. So Andrew's wife is actually Gemini too. So I think that played a lot into it. He kind of knew what he was getting. So he's like, all right, let's just walk away from her for a minute. But you know, you're also tested with elements that you've never felt before. my husband will say, I get hangry. My staff will say I get hangry. Like, all right, just go give her a Kit Kat. She'll be fine. So, to be dropped off this place thinking I may not eat for 14 days. If I make it that long, I may not eat that many days, so I had to really push myself and again, go back to that mental state to say, all right, keep it together. Don't freak out on everything. Just calm down. And it's constant game and challenge in your head that goes up and down, up and down. It's crazy.
I ask Andrew, did you over here, like we're spoiled, we have a watch, we have a phone, whatever, did you lose track of time?
It is insane. When you take off your shoes, even your clothes in this instant, you just get connected to that land so quickly. You begin to notice when your phone is away, when your watch isn't plugged in, when you don't have a million things to listen to or do. It is wild how quickly our bodies go into that survival mode and they see things that you would never see before. I have like a short-term memory. I couldn't tell you what I ate yesterday morning. I couldn't. But what I can do is close my eyes, draw you a picture of where our shelter was. I can draw you a vivid picture and show you where that leaf was and what it smelt like. It's just wild what your body does to adapt. So going back to your question, I thought I knew what time it was. I will, find that out on Sunday. They'll put the times, they'll put the temperature, but I always guessed in my head, and Andrew and I would talk about it, be like, how cold do you think it is? What time do you think it is? But I also think I knew the times because of the bugs. It was like early morning, there was this type of bug. Mid-afternoon, there was this bug. And then when the sun's about to go down, there's these little shitty bugs that just would not go away. So I felt like I was connecting to the land the best way I knew how. But we'll see if I'm right. I don't know.
Certainly the insect life.
Oh, wild.
Yeah. Was there any luxuries that you really missed? Like anything from home that you're like, oh, I really, really missed that. And you kept thinking about that. That would be a good one.
I did not realize it was not the cell phone. It wasn't, a home cooked meal. It was none of that. It was a blanket. And I really tried to challenge myself before leaving for Africa to like sleep without a blanket or sleep on the floor sometimes. Like I challenged myself to do these things, but you still felt a blanket under you, whether it was on top of you or not. Like I had a sheet down, but we are so spoiled. And when we take away these things as simple as a blanket, I mean, I will never, ever underestimate a blanket again. I won't. I won't. But that's one thing that I missed the most was a blanket.
That's interesting. Go ahead, Jen.
So you say oh, no, that's okay. I was just going to ask. So the cameras are with you all the time. And I don't know, maybe some people are thinking this question, they're not going to ask it, but they're hoping that we will. Bathroom situations. Were there cameras there?
So I don't know. So your microphone is always attached to you. So you'll always have a microphone attached to you. But luckily, I mean, and even as a woman, there's other things that happen that you just need some time to yourself, right? You are fortunate enough to kind of go off camera and just do your thing, do your business, but it doesn't make it any easier because they're right there. You try to be private, but you're also without a bathroom, right? You're without toilet paper, you're without all these things. So I don't even think it was the cameras that bothered me because you forget they're there the second you step into the wild naked, you forget they're there. So I think the hardest part was, no, I lied. I think the easiest part is you connect with your partner so quickly because you talk about these things. You're like, okay, I have to go because of this. I have to leave you for a second because of this. And I think that's how you get so connected.
Heaven forbid they should follow you. Like, wait, why are you going over there?
You're like, hold on a moment.
There was a door, I would close it.
Yeah, but you really, really come back humbled, and you'll find out if I made it the whole way or not. But I don't care if you were there an hour, 14 days, 21 days, it does not matter. The second you just feel the elements and you feel that world underneath your feet, you become humbled, and you really, really respect everything that you're given, down to the littlest thing. And that's hard to come back to. Maybe we could talk about that after, but yeah.
Do you feel that humbleness and that appreciation for everything you have, it's been a year out or close to a year, do you still feel that?
I had a very difficult time coming back. It was very difficult, just because I got flown right back into Atlanta airport. So I don't know if anybody's been to Atlanta airport, but it's the worst in the whole world. It is the worst place to be, especially after something I experienced. And I had to stop in the terminal, and I had a full-fledged breakdown. It was very difficult for me to come back to. And after my challenge, or after this show is aired, my goal is to kind of share more insight on the mental part before, during, and after of being on this show, because it is so much more than the hour or 2 hours that you're seeing. And yeah, we're a year out, and I am still kind of, I say screwed up. I'm still screwed up from it. Some really, really good ways, and some I could work on. But all in all, best experience of my life, really.
It's good to hear, considering just from watching everybody else. Of course, we don't know what your suffering was, but from the other shows we've watched, and I've been like, good Lord, how did they do that?
Oh, it's terrible.
And then sunburn. I was like, the sun don't shine there. How does that?
I think the best way I can put it is it's like having kids. You forget that pain, you forget that suffering, and you love your children after so much. I guess that's the best way I can put it. You forget that pain, and then out comes this amazing thing and this amazing experience that you can just love and cherish forever.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In a heartbeat.
I guess that's why we have kids again too, right?
Yes, they trick you. They're like, oh, this is good, do it again. And then you're out there, or you have another, and you're like, what the F did I just do?
Yes, because they're completely different. And if, like with children, they're completely different. And if you had if you did something like this again, your experiences might be completely different, and they would shape you in a different way.
Absolutely. And that's something Andrew and I talked about a lot, is everything was our firsts, right? So, we talked about if we did this again, I say when, because I put it out in the universe. So when I do this again, is it going to be the same? Am I going to feel the same? Because firsts are firsts, and you can't take that away. So you go do this crazy experience again, it's not going to be the same partner. It's not going to be the same place. And is it going to be as amazing as I'm saying and sitting here right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if I put you in like Antarctica or somewhere cold? Good Lord.
Yeah, I probably should take back I'm scared of the cold. I love the cold. It's great. Don't.
And then you get worried about the polar bears.
Start doing Naked and Afraid Canadian edition.
Yeah. Oh, so Wes Harper is one of my mentors, and he actually we talked a lot before the show, even before I even began to want to be on the show, because he had a business, he had a family, and I just felt connected to that. Well, I rewatched his episode for like the third time of Naked and Afraid Frozen. And I messaged him. I was like, it's 40 degrees in South Carolina. How did you do that? Like, what are you, crazy? But it's what we do. And we have a big screw loose somewhere up here because we keep going back for more. I don't know why.
What was, I asked Andrew this, what was your last meal before you went out?
So again, my plumping stage, I was just like eating everything. So to be quite honest, I could not even tell you, but I know it was in the airport and I know it was like several things. I ordered, I was lucky enough to have like American Airlines. So I was in like the cool little fancy place in the airport. And I'm like, can I have some of this and this and this? And I ate it all. And I couldn't even tell you what it was, but it was fantastic.
What was your first thing you ate when you came back?
Oh, I wanted chicken, mashed potatoes, and steak. Like chicken and steak. That's my thing. Maybe throw some pasta in there. But my husband was kind enough to have a really great meal for me when I got home. And yeah, it was fantastic. So
I find it interesting that you and Andrew both, neither one of you can remember the last thing you ate before you left, but you have a better idea of what you ate when you came back.
That is funny. That is funny. I was watching him before, and yeah, you're right. He didn't remember either. It's wild. I think you just have so many things that you're thinking about and you're preparing for, you're nervous about. And yeah, I'd be interested if I ever go back again, if I remember what my last meal will be.
Or maybe it's you have a new appreciation for the things when you come back, and then it's more memorable.
Absolutely. And I do know, just by looking back at some of the episodes, the littlest thing, whether it's a cricket or a mealworm, they take one bite and they savor it. Right? You see that on the show or their first sip of monkey poo water, they drink it and they're like, oh, this is delicious. And you're sitting on your couch like, what is this? Why are you doing that? Why are you drinking that? But you really, when you take everything away, you become appreciative of any little thing. You really, really do. And I wish everybody could experience that. I really do.
It was the same thing he said.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I guess it would almost be like waitressing. I always say everybody should be a waitress at some point, just so they understand the hospitality world and dealing with people. So to me, it's kind of similar to that.
I say the same thing about cashiering.
Yes.
Everybody should be a cashier at some point in their life so they can be humbled.
So they can be humbled and just be nice. Please be nice.
Yeah, it's hard to do. So, yeah, I was one thing when you were talking about that and thinking with Andrew, I've had several athletes and competitors on, and one thing one of the boxers told me, she said, I think everybody needs to get punched in the face once. So I find it odd that it's almost the same thing, but it's that competitive spirit. You wished everybody could do it. So.
Absolutely. And some people watching or some people who watch the show are like, I would never do that. Right. They don't even think that. And I'm like, do it, try it.
Yes. Well, and then there's people that will watch, and they'll be judging what you're doing, but they're not in that situation. Like, what did Andrew call them?
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. It's really easy to judge somebody outside looking in than it is to actually be there and try to make that decision.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, I did that, even watching the show as a fan. Well, why'd you do that? And why'd you do this? And it's funny. I can say this because the clip just came out, but day one, Andrew and I are bent over getting sick on day one. And it may be karma. Yeah, it may be. I sorry, Andrew. I think it might be karma that I put out in the past, but I was the one sitting on the couch eating popcorn with my blanket. And I'm like, why is she getting sick? Why is he sick on the first day? They're never going to make it. And there I am, bent over, Africa bush. But you just don't know until you're out there. And I think it goes back to why I wish everybody could do it, because I myself needed that. I needed that wake-up call, that go back to the basics, right? Don't judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's so true. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a better way of putting it than you wish everybody could do it. And then when you were done, though, and it was finally, you and Andrew had parted ways. He's going on one airplane and you're going on another. Was it like a big weight left you, or did you have the more energy?
Oh, I think it depends on the second. again, you just went through war. And I don't care, again, if I made it for a day or made it for 14, it is still all the same. It is a hardship, and you go through so much. I don't think anybody can come out of that experience being completely whole and completely stable. You're almost like bipolar in a way, because you feel one thing, you're thinking another, your body went through changes, you're trying to regulate that. And I think that's why I would love to come back on and just talk afterwards, because that's really what I want to focus on, is the after and what it does to one's life, what it does to family life, what it does to kids and husbands and spouses. You know, there's just so much more than this show. And it is real. With Andrew brought up the keyboard warriors. The keyboard warriors, you know, I see a lot of, is it fake? Is it staged? It is absolutely 110% authentic. And that's what makes the great show.
Did you watch a lot of reality TV before this?
No, the only big show that I watched was Naked and Afraid. So in 2019, when COVID and everything was happening, before that, I was building a salon. And it took about 6 months to renovate in end of 2018. And January 23rd, my salon opened. And then March 15th, we were shut down. So everything got completely stripped from my family. My husband's disabled. He's a stay-at-home dad. Before that, I worked 7 days, 14-hour days. I was just a workhorse, go, go, go. And then when they shut us down, it was the first time I was able to like listen to myself and listen to my brain. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to shut this off. Let's watch TV. And it was either Tiger King or Naked and Afraid. And I picked Naked and Afraid. And that's kind of where the love of Naked and Afraid came. Yes. And I'm from South Carolina. So Tiger King and that whole thing was connected. It was wild. But I chose Naked and Afraid. And that's where the love of the show really, really started, is because it took me out of my head and pushed me to do different things from there.
I love that you mentioned the after effects of that, because people only see the show and they don't see how it changes you after. Mm-hmm. Would you say there's good and there's bad, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, I can say this. So Andrew and I both got malaria when we got back. So that kind of took away my processing, because it was like, all right, I'm going to go home. I'm going to like sit down before I go to work, before I see the staff. I had this whole plan, right? My life has always been planned and I've always had goals, and it just was like, nope, not today. You got a few more things to deal with. So Andrew and I were both in the ICU for several days. It got really, really bad. And that kind of took away from that processing time. And I think that's why it took me so long to just get back to where I needed to be, I think. Yeah.
It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
But then I say I want to go back. So, you know, how crazy am I? I don't know.
It's like I said, I think it's the competitor in you. And anybody that does something like this. And when you're talking about the keyboard warriors, they do that for every reality TV show. So don't let anybody in CBS's Big Brother. Holy cow! You think they're mean here? Oh.
So okay, well that makes me feel bad, because I never really like got into the fan pages and the things, only on the show, and I'm like, oh boy, ours is coming Sunday. These people are mean. It'll toughen the skin, though. We'll be good.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to watch it.
Thank you. And Andrew told me, he's like, any publicity is good publicity. And Wes Harper told me that too. So I was like, all right, we're good. We could do this.
So, and this is a weird question, but how do you get over the nudity or nakedness? I'm stuttering. Nakedness, nudity, that, you know, when you got your clothes on.
So honestly, I was I was really worried about it in the beginning. And I'm like, not only am I getting naked, but the whole world is going to see me get naked. Right. And my husband and I we love each other dearly. So I also wanted to respect my family on this. So it wasn't just my feelings about it. It was my family. And I really wanted to respect that. But the second you take off your clothes, you have cameras in your face. Your feet are on thorns. In my particular situation, they were thorns, very big thorns. It is hot as like all hell. You forget you're naked. Now you feel that you're naked because every grass blade, every rock, every bit of sun is beating down on things that you never knew parts of your body you had. It's in there. It's on there and it's scratching you and cutting you. But you really do forget the whole nudity part. And I know some people kind of make jokes about it, but even meeting my partner and stuff, it was like, I'm going to take Andrew's words on this. He had this like box around my face in his mind, and all we saw was each other's face. We never really saw the nudity part. Maybe that goes back to like our ancestors and things where it's just natural. Or it was fear. I don't know what it was, but it was wild that part of my brain just shut down. I didn't see Andrew naked. I didn't see myself naked. I just saw I just saw what we needed to do next. And yeah, it was weird. Your body does weird things when it's pushed to the limit.
I suppose it's like childbirth, you don't think about it. You
right.
just
Legs
you have to do this.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Not a very flattering position, and you're naked, and people are looking down there.
Right.
But you just don't think about that. You're just like, this hurts. Let's get this done.
Let's just do this. Absolutely. Yeah. It's got to be. It has to be like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know.
Well, I'm an old fat guy. I don't know that I could. I'm a paramedic. I've seen plenty of people naked, so trust me. Make sure to wear matching drawers. So that's all.
Well, that was a big thing too. What do you wear on national television underneath the clothes, right? So I had to pick out this really cute outfit.
Never thought of that.
You have to think about that. Do you shave? Do you not? Do you put on this? Do you put on that? There's things that you really had to prep for that people don't think about until you're in it.
Nope, I never thought of those things.
And Kayla Cummings, she's also one of my mentors, and I actually grew up in the same location with her in Vermont and went to high school with her husband, so it was kind of that cool connection. But things I was like, Kayla, what do I do? Do I do this now? Like, I'm like asking her all these personal questions. She's like, it's okay, just breathe. You got this.
Well, yeah,
just roll with it.
Yeah, well, it's either that or you just cry.
Right. You got to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
But I was committed. I was like, I am doing this. I am prepared for this. I've been prepping for this for years. I got this. I can do this.
Now, were you an outdoors person? I mean, like hunting, fishing, any of that stuff beforehand?
So I grew up in Vermont and we were forced to go outside, right? We didn't have cell phones when everybody else did. We were just always forced to play in the mud. So I think that's where my roots came from. But then I moved down here to Myrtle Beach and I had the luxuries of just no outdoors, right? I had the beach, but that's about it. No woods, no nothing. But my heart is in the woods. My heart is being grounded in the trees and all of those things. So there's a local island in my area called River Island Adventure. And they actually, Jeff, he's the owner, and he mimics Survivor games and Naked and Afraid, but it's like Bathing Suit and Afraid. So he does all those things. And I reached out to him several months ago. And I said, hey, can I use your land? So it just brought back those roots to go back outdoors. And I felt like myself again. After COVID and after all that shutdown with the salon happened, what grounded me, like some people do drugs, some people drink, what grounded me was going outside, playing with sticks, rubbing them together and seeing if it started a fire. So I guess it's just always been in my roots, and that's where I'm the happiest. But I also have the other side with the bright pink hair, dressing up every day and being in the glamour world. So again, that Gemini, right? It's one or the other.
I should have been born a Gemini because
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything you're saying resonates with me. I'm a Libra,
Okay.
but I grew up in the Rockies in British Columbia, and that's where my heart is, like in the
Yeah.
forest there.
Don't you just like feel so happy there and just so free?
Fresh and
Yes.
like in tune with nature. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
fascinating.
I remember going out for, oh, sorry. I went out for a walk and come across a black bear, and I'm sitting there going, go away, go away. And it's not moving. And I'm, okay, now what? Well,
Now what do I
I'm not
do?
going to run. Yeah, exactly. That was about as close as I came to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he got tired of me. I must have stunk, and he walked away.
Right. He's like, we're good. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're weird.
Well, Nicole, we're going to ask you, paranormal, any paranormal there or any paranormal experiences in general?
So, like I said, I think everything was Bigfoot. Again, I don't know what it was out there, but Africa was like noises galore, and nighttime everything came alive. And the camera crew goes away at night, so you really are by yourself. So besides Bigfoot in Africa, which I know he was there, we have a ghost in our salon. We just do. And this, I believe it's one of my staff members who brings it there. I'm not gonna lie, because when she's not there, everything's fine. But I also was given this porcelain doll by our neighbor, like the business next to me. I don't think she really liked us that much, but she gave me this porcelain doll for Christmas. And she said, Nicole, I found this at a thrift shop. Her name's Nicole. I blessed her. Here you go.
That's sus right there.
Okay, you blessed her. Why? Like, I don't know. So many things. I was like, thank you. So nice, so kind. And I swear, this doll has haunted our spa. Now we have 3 units that I've taken over time. And so we have a salon side and a spa side. And Nicole, this porcelain doll, sits in my office because I'm scared to move her. Like, if I move her, I'm afraid she's going to come back. So she sits in my office on the spa side, lights dim, noises, footprints, so much so that my staff will come out. There's like a curtain because like the salon side's loud and then the spa side's quiet. So there's like a little curtain. My staff will come out and they are completely pale faced. And they're like, were you just in there? I said, no. Well, I heard this. I saw this. So Nicole the doll has been haunting us forever. And whenever this specific staff member comes, it's like this doll activates. I don't know how to explain it. But I think you need to be asking my sister this. She is very in tune with all of this. When she came to visit us, she walked down our spa side and she's like, yeah, right there. And she turns her head and she describes what kind of ghost this is. I kid you not. And it was wild. So she did her little rocks and her things and her sage and all of this. And it went away for a little while. This Nicole doll, this spirit, whatever it is, I don't think it's angry. I don't think it's mean. I just think it wants to come and play and kind of like mess with us. Clocks off the wall. And I am jealous of my sister. She sees things. She does things. So I'm always trying to like go on the spa side. Like, are you there? Can I see you? Like, where are you? And she walks in 2 seconds and it's right there. But I will see it one day and I'll come back and let you know who it is and why my staff member is so connected with this thing, because I just don't know. But yeah, definitely wild things. You'll have to come visit.
Yeah.
I'd be freaked out by that doll. I'd be like,
yeah, but I can't move it. I'm like, because it's literally going to leave. And like, if I put it away, you know darn well it's going to come back and just like sit there. Like, hi, Nicole, we're back.
like Chucky.
I can't take it. I can't. And it looks like me. That's the creepy part. Minus the pink hair. I'm like, why did this woman give this to me?
You said she didn't like you very well?
I really don't think so. And we are convinced she brought it there on purpose. We are.
Voodoo.
Yep.
It's voodoo.
Yes, it is. So we're convinced. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't argue because I've heard and seen crazy things in some of the stories we get from our guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
little
paranormal while you were in
footprints,
Africa?
like you'll hear like people walking down the hallway, and you'll be in the room, and you're just like, we do Japanese head spas there. So we were the first on the East Coast to start Japanese head spa. And if you don't know what that is, it's an upper body release. It's a massage. You have a halo of water, and you're really like a facial for your scalp. It's very relaxing, but it releases a lot of energy in general. So, you're dealing with chakras and different pressure points and all these things. So we're releasing a lot from our guests. And at least once a month, we do have to sage our salon, because you can sometimes walk into, again, not the salon side, but the spa side, and you just feel that heaviness, that weight. It's wild. It's wild. So we have like all these gems, like just stop, do not come here, leave us alone. Take it with you. Take it with you.
Oh, the head massage sounds glorious.
It's fantastic. If you have not had one, you have to. You'll have to come to the salon and get one, but it is fabulous. And just take all your juju with you, please.
I don't think Jen has much juju.
I don't know. My mother gave me the mother's curse to have 2 children just like me.
Oh, yes. I got that too. How mean of them are they? Why would they do that to us?
Because we were mean to them.
It's so bad. I got that too.
Yes. Yeah.
My son tricked me to have another one, and my daughter is just like me. It's so scary.
I was hoping for a daughter. I have 2 sons. I grew up with 4 brothers. I'm surrounded by boys, but at least I knew what I was getting into, and I wouldn't trade my sons for the world.
No, something about those little boys.
Yeah.
Lots of testosterone there. So good. Yeah. I got a grandson. So my daughter, I keep telling her, let him just get the helmet off, get the bubble, just go let him boy.
I am a bubble mom. My husband's like, push him down. Like no, but my son's like, so tomorrow I have another interview, and he helped me pick out my outfit. Not my daughter, but my son. So you wouldn't like that, because I'm a bubble mom too. So I get it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. I'm a bubble mom as well. And they're little tyrants. Sorry.
How do you
go ahead?
I was gonna. We talked about you, but how were they while you were gone? I hadn't, you bringing that up. I actually never thought of that.
Yeah, it was. We are a close family. And when you take a component away, things can fall apart a little bit. But it was, I had to shut the family part off. I know that sounds so mean, but I had to. When I was out there, I had to stop thinking about what my family was doing. Are they okay? Because I don't think I could have even made it an hour, right? So I shut that off. But for them, life still happens. I was gone through Easter. They cannot talk to me. So they don't know if I'm okay. They don't know if I've eaten. They don't know any of that. So it is very, very difficult for the family side of it. And I would, again, love to share that side to fans, because you don't hear about that. So no, I can't say my family was great and awesome, and they're like, yay, mom's gone. It was, I think, more tough on them in some ways than it was for me. And I've left like on business trips for several days, but they can talk to you, right? You can say goodnight, you can kiss them on the phone, you can FaceTime, all those things, yet they don't know if I'm okay. They don't even know if I'm eating, right? So it's not good. But we made it, and it made us stronger. And that you always realize what you have when you don't have it, when you get it taken away for a moment.
Yeah, they appreciate it a lot more.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, I never thought about that with the family, but the family has to adjust too. And when you come back, it's an adjustment as well.
So Wes Harper gave me some really great advice, because he's a family man too. You have so many stories to tell somebody when you come home from a life-changing experience, yet their life still went on the normal path. Make sure the second you call them, don't throw, oh my God, I saw this and this happened and this happened. Ask them how they are. They suffered too. They were without you. You know, it can get me emotional sometimes because it's like, in one way, it could be seen selfish because it's such a, you're taking the main component away, and you have to do it. Like, I have to do it. My fire inside has to do this. But to see my family go through a hardship as well was never my intention. But now we know how to go through this. So not if, when I get my chance again, we know some things to do differently.
It's got to be a big adjustment for the family.
Yeah.
And the support's always there. You know, they've always supported, and that's the biggest part. And that just shows how good of a family unit I have, as well as staff. My staff did amazing while I was gone. Actually, I came back. I thought it was going to be all apart, and they didn't need me. They did better without me. I was like, all right.
How's that make you feel?
They're like, oh, we got this. I'm like, okay, that's all right. Go ahead. So many things that you don't put into this show. And I think that's why it's so dear to my heart, because not only did my family go through things and my staff go through things, but we are one of 200 people who've been on the show in a lifespan of Naked and Afraid. Think of all those families, those kids, those spouses, the business, the bosses that had to deal with it too. So it's so much bigger than just a film that's made up, right? We know it's not, but we hear that all the time.
No, that's what they always say. It's just TV. So
it's just TV. Yeah. So I'm excited, and hopefully you'll have me and Andrew back. And I would love to shed some more light on that, because I'm sure he can relate to with his wife and his family. And it's a big part of my why for the show, is to just kind of talk about the life outside of Naked and Afraid, because we get to see the Naked and Afraid part. I want to talk about the before and the after. Yeah.
I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. Did we ask what your craving when you got back was?
Oh, I craved everything, but it was like your belly was so small, you just had to like take little bites. But I'm a snacker. So like ice cream, Oreos, the really, really bad stuff I was craving. Malaria didn't help me, but after that, I was able to just go back to my normal snacking. I'm not a salad person. I'm a good cheeseburger and a side of Oreos and milk person. And I got back to that real quick.
Nice.
Me too. All right,
Chocolate and coffee would be my luxuries to come back
and Naked and Afraid's the best diet plan ever. So go on that. You'll be good to go.
I don't know. I lost a lot of weight when I had pneumonia that one year.
See, flu, pneumonia, all the things, all the same.
Branded in Africa. Yeah, it's very good.
It's fine.
It's a bad diet. All right. Well, we're going to tune in Sunday night and watch you. We won't be keyboard warriors, but we will make sure to reach out to you. And we told Andrew we'd like to have you back as well. If you all want to come back, both of you at the same time on the same show and do a Q&A. Because I know Jen's going to be like me. I'm going to be like, wait a minute. I didn't ask her this. She didn't tell me she meant hippo nude. You know.
Well, once it comes out, there's a whole new list of questions we can ask you.
Absolutely. And me and Andrew together are quite a riot. So wait till you see on Sunday. I think you'll have a blast with us back. We're again, polar opposites, but we bring out the best in each other. So it's really fun to see dynamic duo, total opposites. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to it. And like I told him, thank you not only for coming on our show, but thank you for doing this for our entertainment, because a lot of people will just take it for granted. Oh, that's TV. There's somebody, I don't know them.
Yeah.
But you did it for us.
That means a lot. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully somebody out there can watch our episode and really just, if you can take, when I teach classes, I say, if you can take one thing from my class today, I hope you take it and true dear to you, because we really pour a lot of love into what we do. And whenever I do something, I do it with intention. I do it with love. And I just really hope it can help somebody in a situation they're in, and take that with them.
Great. Yes,
Yeah.
we'll have you back, and then we'll talk about the bloopers too. So
Awesome.
Yes.
Lots of them.
Yeah, we want to hear the stories that didn't make it on the TV.
Perfect. I'm sure there's a lot of them.
yeah. All right, Nicole, thank you very much for coming on. I do appreciate it. And I'm going to put in, for anybody listening, they'll be in the show notes, ways to get in touch with you guys and gals if they want to. So hopefully no stalkers, but
Yeah.
there's always
that'll be a
hope.
whole different show on what we've heard before. So,
Yeah.
but thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and I really, really appreciate the opportunity.
No, thank you.
No, it's a
So,
pleasure for you to hear your stories. Like,
yeah, it really is. So we will see you soon. Thanks a lot, Nicole.
Of course. Bye, guys.
Wow. Where does it seems I'm looking over here at the timer. I told you I set a timer when it comes in.
yes.
So do the commercial things. Where does it go? Wow. Such a great episode. And everybody make sure to first off, come over to the Sportcat Show, the channel, and hit that subscribe button because we have a lot of great guests, authors. Jen's an author, JM, she's an author as well.
Yes.
And for our listeners in Australia, make sure to check them out. I'm not sure the time or place in Australia, but find it and watch. And if you have any questions, jot them down and come back over here, and we're going to get them back on. So it was an exciting episode, and like I said, I had so many questions, but then you get to rolling, and it's like, but what about
You're
this?
just hearing the story. You're just like listening, and then you're like, oh crap! I was going to ask 2 questions.
Right? And like I said, when we have them back, we'll be like, you didn't tell us about a hippo,
Or the monkey poop.
Yeah, the monkey. I have a feeling we're going to see some monkey poop. That was mentioned a few
Yes.
times. So,
Find out
well,
if it's real or not.
yeah, or if they throw it at you. Good Lord. Oh, the thought. All right. Well, everybody, next week we have another great episode. We have 2 authors. One of them was a police officer called Scars of the Badge. He writes about his life story. And the other one kind of writes a little bit of, historical, paranormal, maybe sci-fi fiction, mystery. She's got a little bit of everything in there. She's got a good lineup of books. I think she said she had like 6 or 7. So we'll have her on as well. So come check that out. Jen, tell them about your books. Make sure you get a plug in there.
Yeah, no, I've got a dark fantasy YA series. It's you can check it out at my website at www.jmshawauthor.com. Just relaunched my first book with new chapters, new material, new cover.
Excited. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Please do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. And if you got anything from this show, just leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. So we like feedback. So in the show notes, there'll be information on how to get in touch with all of us. If you have some burning question, monkey poo water. Those are words I never thought I would say on the radio.
Or monkey poo water tastes good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think about that. How long does it take to boil monkey poo or monkey poo water? Sorry.
Maybe distill it quite well before you drink it.
God, yeah. I'm gonna have a Mountain Dew just thinking about this. Yes, you're welcome. We're glad you're here, and we have another guest coming up in a few weeks. She was from episode 1, Tori. So she's going to be tuning in, or no, she's going to be here with us. So we'll have that coming up soon. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for allowing us to tickle your ears. Thank you to WBJY. No, why did I say that? WZQR, WRFN. Jesus, we haven't been on DJY in years. And Dare Talk Radio in Australia. Everybody have a great night. God, I got to learn what buttons to push.